Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of East Meets West, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the WNBA, the 2025 WNBA Draft Grades Edition of East Meets West. Yes, WNBA fans, we have doubled back for you. It's your boy, Opinionated MJ. It's the great Conrado Pascual. Yes, the greatest scout on planet Earth. Ladies and gentlemen,
Huh.
puts in so much work. Make sure y'all follow him. Y'all see the name at the bottom. SCP3 underscore 777. That's a lot of luck. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So is there any thoughts or just
I mean, obviously,
big things that you want to say before we go team by team?
every draft cycle, at least for me, I've been covering. Well, I've been covering both NBA and WNBA for a number of years. In terms of like the draft.
Yeah.
So you kind of become close to each draft cycle, right? I mean, you put
Right.
months and months, sometimes actually years if you're scouting these prospects years in advance.
Right.
you know so I guess what I'm trying to say is like it's pretty cool to see a lot of these ladies, all the hard work that they put in. Obviously the work is not done,
Right.
but still, you're a step closer to your ultimate dream. And I mean, every team, the ultimate goal is to win that championship, and it's really fun to see you know which team, like how the teams are going about trying to do that you know
Mhm.
and so this was a fun draft class. Obviously it lost a lot of luster because a lot of big names decided to return to college.
Yeah.
In no particular order: Olivia Miles, Az Fudd, Gianna Neepkins.
Mhm.
um, I'm sure I'm missing a number of names. I'm just saying, right? Those are like some of the more notable names that could have or would have been first round picks.
Right.
But still, I think there was still a lot of talent. Maybe not superstar talent, but definitely like teams that you could see making or players that you could see making an impact for their respective teams. So,
Definitely.
um, yeah, let's dive into
Yeah,
this.
and I think that they also like Olivia Miles and everybody that did decide to stay on, probably to increase their stock and also potentially land somewhere that will build around them. Because if they would have participated in this draft, they probably would have, ended up somewhere just littered with other players that have prominent roles on those teams too. So I'm not mad at them. You know what I mean? And then the Valkyries potentially they could win 20 games or they could win 7. You know what I mean? So it's
I
just like
mean,
then you'll go to the Valkyries and you'll be a part of something where you're the
everything,
focal point.
everything that you just listed is a relevant factor that I think, influenced uh, each player's decision as to whether to declare or not. I
Yeah,
mean, with the ambiguity about these CBA negotiations,
yeah,
like I think that is what really threw the biggest curveball in all of this. You know,
hmm
had
yeah,
there been more clarity, maybe, probably some of those bigger names would have stayed in this draft class, but
yeah.
it is what it is. So we'll see. Having said that, well, that's another episode. 2026
Right.
is looking pretty fun,
Yeah, it
arguably
is.
more fun, right?
Really,
But
the
again,
the next 3 years is looking good right now, and
yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be more. You know what I mean? Because like I know, like Dominique Malonga is one of the dunkers, but there are a lot of girls in high school that are like very athletic, and some of
hmm
them are high flyers and can actually dunk too. So, for the people that just think women should dunk in order to entertain you, I guess you'll have your little litter of players coming. But yeah, it's a lot of athleticism and guards and whatnot coming to the league very soon over the next few. So yeah, the league will continue to
Yes.
grow in that direction. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Uh, the Atlanta Dream. We're gonna go in order, people. So if your team is
Alphabetical.
not, yeah, maybe we'll timestamp this one so they'll know, like, oh, I just want to hear my team. But yeah, so the Atlanta Dream, they picked Tahina Pawpaw, and they also drafted Taylor Theory. So go ahead and give us your grade and your introspection.
So I mean, I think the funny thing is we're doing a grade show, and normally I roll my eyes at these grades, right? When I
Yeah.
see it like in articles and stuff, because
Mm.
the way they do their grades is as if like you're already trying to project the type of player or the type of career that they're going to have, which I think is unfair,
Right.
right? So for our grades, it's more relative to like, okay, right? Did you maximize your draft capital wherever you drafted?
Yeah.
And also, like, do you believe that this potentially helps the team, right? With
Yeah.
regards to what they're trying to do, Atlanta's a little weird, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
sense that, like, make no mistake, they have talented players. You know, they even signed some big names, right?
Mm-hmm. BG.
Like, no, yeah, no pun intended, but Brittany Griner, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got Ryan Howard and everything like that.
Alicia
They
Gray.
even have Brianna Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't technically need bigs. So whoops, I'm supposed to give my grade. Huh. I think I'm gonna give them a B. Kind of want to say B minus,
Yeah.
but I feel
Damn.
like
Minus. Okay.
maybe I'm a hard grader, maybe I'm an easy grader. I don't know.
Okay.
I think compared to other like mock drafts and big boards, I was a little bit relatively lower on Tahina Paopao.
Yeah.
I don't think she has lead guard potential. I think she really is better suited to be like a rotational guard.
Yeah.
So
And off ball too.
having been picked in 18th overall, right? Second in the second round, 18th overall,
Yeah.
like I think that's actually now a fair, right? I think
Yeah.
now the expectations of her in her role is
Yeah.
actually commensurate to where she was drafted. You know, like if she had been drafted higher, there would have been higher expectations and
Right.
probably um fans, the team themselves would want her to try to produce substantially more
Yeah.
immediately. I think here she can settle in to doing what I believe is what she's best suited to do, which is really just catch and shoot. She's more
Mm-hmm.
of a positional defender. She is not a multi-positional defender. I think people kind of got a little clouded by that.
Yeah. Because of
You
South
don't
Carolina.
really. She can handle the ball, but you don't want her to be pounding the rock. You don't really want her on ball too much. So I think, given that there's Alicia Gray, Jordan Canada, right? She kind of slots
Mm-hmm.
in nicely to play behind and with them, you know? So I think it's fine. I'm not really sure. I suppose they could have gone like wing, like
Yeah.
more wing death, have a little bit more length.
Yeah.
Someone who could maybe slide between like the 2-3 or the 3 and the 4. So that's kind of why I have them as a B. I guess they did fine. And then Taylor Theory, it's going to be an uphill battle for her to make the roster.
Right.
But I think same thing. That is then kind of the length that I was speaking of. You know, the thing is, though, again, can she put it all together? She has the physical tools,
Right.
and she's shown some flashes of it,
Yeah.
But again, the thing is, are those flashes enough to actually work her, to earn her a spot on the
On
opening
the
day
team.
roster? Because right
Yeah.
now,
They're loaded.
they have, yeah,
Top heavy as hell.
I'm not sure if she'll do enough to supplant any of the veterans
Right.
currently under contract, but I think you know I think she has again the potential to at least um continue to build up her stock in preseason,
Right.
because if she gets waived, other teams will take notice. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a B minus, but I'll give him a B because
Okay.
works out.
I'll give them a B plus because I think Pow is kind of what they need. You know what I mean? Like she comes in and she's gonna like help spread the floor. And I said it the other day. Like I think that this puts Haley Jones in a tough spot. You know what I mean? As far as being on the
Yeah,
Atlanta Dream roster. So, but other than that, as far as just because I'll just grade just off fit for the team for all of these teams. I think that she's a pretty decent fit. It'll be like a B plus for me. Her and Taylor Theory. Like I think that what they do is going to help that team because they do need Taylor because yeah they got Alicia Gray, they got Ryan Howard, but then you know what I mean. Like Haley Jones can defend, but it's not that much more other defense, wing defense anyway. And they have Jordan Canada, right? If I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. So it's not necessarily a lot of wing and perimeter defense, just to go around like that. At least for them to be successful anyway against the other teams. As far as being stacked up against the other teams, it's not the same. So yeah.
Yeah. And relatively speaking, like I said, I think Pau Pau will make the team. Hence
Oh
why
yeah.
this is why my grade is B.
Yeah.
Because like if you got someone that like if you drafted someone that high and they have like no shot, then I'll be like, okay, like that was like a waste of a pick, right? Like
Right.
so yeah, I'm gonna stick with B.
Okay. All right. And moving on to the next team, we have the Chicago Sky. And I don't want to butcher her name. Is
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Go for it. Because
I
I'm
heard
pretty
him
sure
say
I
it so
taught you how
many
to say
times and I
this.
forgot it. Aja Sivka.
That's pretty good. It's closer to actually Aisha. Like,
Aisha
yeah.
Sivka.
Actually, you said it perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's go. Let's get it. Okay, so they got Aja. They also have Haley Van Lith, of course. The big name, putting her back with Angel Reese. Maddie Westbeld, and I don't want to butcher her name, but I would assume that it's Aisha Coulibaly.
Yeah, you got it.
Because I mean, if I name my daughter that, yeah, it would be Aisha. Like, so the I would kind of ride into the C. So yeah. So yeah, yes. Thank you. Perfect grammar on these names. Don't kill us.
Very nice.
So yeah. How do you feel about what the Chicago Sky did?
I have mixed feelings. I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna give him again. My initial reaction was I want to give him a B minus.
Yeah.
I can talk myself into going up to a B, but that's the max. So somewhere between B or B minus, depending how I feel, right?
Yeah.
In general, I think they did well. Obviously, I've been very clear throughout this entire draft cycle. I've been very high on Aisha Sivka.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She was like in every iteration of my board, she was always like in the top 5. I think she finished fourth behind Yuste Yosite for me, like on my big board, on my draft board. Obviously, like the Sky. So with these 4 players, plus all the players they signed in free agency on non-guaranteed deals, and then they signed, I believe, like 3 more players for training camp, 2 undrafted free agents, and then 1 additional free agent. So they basically have 8 players competing for 2 roster spots. Right. So that's why, like, the Sivka one, this might actually be okay because they probably don't have the ability to roster all 4 of their draft picks.
Yeah.
So it sounds like she might be a draft and stash, which is fine. Right. But ultimately, I've been saying this entire process, like, the priority for the Sky has to be you have to maximize Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso.
Right.
Probably more so Cardoso. I think she was extremely underutilized last year. And to be fair, she kind of had a slow start because, like she was injured to start training camp.
Yeah.
But the point is, this is not a time to talk about what Reese or Cardoso can't do. It's a time to now be thinking, how can we help them get there? Right. Or at least to position themselves best where they can succeed. So I was saying, like, dude, you need to be able to find a combo forward that can defend, like, can switch pick and rolls, right? That can defend on the perimeter, who can defend in space. That way you can allow Angel to stay back as a second line disruptor, right? Give Cardoso a stretch 4, a real stretch 4, so she can go to work in the paint. She's not always having to fight triple teams, right?
Yeah.
You got both of that in Aisha Sivka.
Yeah.
At least in theory, right? Now, okay, right? She's not coming yet. Well, then you have the American kind of version of her in Maddie Westbeld. Right? Who I was very high on. I was very high on as a nice second round pick. I kind of been calling it for like weeks that I think she's going to end up with the Sky. The Sky's GM had been talking about, like, for like the weeks leading up to it, about different draft prospects, and he kept talking about Maddie Westbeld. So it seemed like she was definitely going to be a Chicago Sky. But the same thing, right? Westbeld, maybe not as agile as Sivka. Obviously, her athleticism comes into question. But, she is she's one of my statistical darlings, my analytical darlings. Meaning the why? Because throughout her entire career, whether she plays like 5 minutes or 35 minutes, whether she starts or comes off the bench, like her production never, like on a per possession or per minute basis, it never drops. It's like the
Oh
same.
wow. Okay.
I like consistency like that. That's the
Right.
type of consistency you want in your bench players. So there you go, right?
Yeah.
And again, extremely good weak side defender. So I mean, that's again, right, what this guy could use. Now, just real quick, the reason why Aisha Coulibaly, she's gonna be basically IL'd for the year. She's out with a torn ACL. So that was okay, easy again, right? A nice another
Right.
drafting stash.
Right.
Now, the reason why I give this grade or this team a B minus as opposed to something higher is because I'm not very high on the Haley Van Lith pick. And I think some fans are very divided on this. Like, make no mistake, did they need a point guard? Yes. But did that point guard have to be Haley Van Lith? Right?
No.
Like, in my opinion, the Sky, they need more shot creation off the dribble. They need someone who can consistently get paint touches, right? That is not Haley Van Lith.
Right.
That's not to say she isn't good, right? It's, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, it's like at one point, on one hand, you're like, Conrad, Michael, we need another point guard, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So they give us Haley Van Lith. Well, you gave us another point guard, but it still doesn't address our issues. You see what I'm saying? Like you just gave me another guard that offers the same holes that our current guards have.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, dude, you know, there were some other point guards out there. We'll get to like, well, I'll just say it right now, right? I felt like Kansas State point guard Serena Sundell would have been a way better fit, especially playing with Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's a very clunky fit. Like I don't want to say like she's just a younger version of Courtney Vandersloot because she's not, you know, that's like out of respect to both of them.
Right.
But with regards to what they're capable of doing in Tyler Marsh's system, it's just very similar.
Right.
You know, like you're not adding an element that they didn't already have. So
maybe that's what they were looking for. Some type of consistency. Because how long does Sloot have? Like one more year, maybe? You know what I mean? So
I mean, she's only under a contract for 1 year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, beyond that, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe she can go call Allie up and tell her, "Hey, babe, come on, come back."
Yeah.
But I'll just say that I will give them pretty much the same grade, like a B minus, because I felt like with what was left on the board, they could have chosen better. And I don't know that Haley Van Lith should have been that pick in particular. But I do like the fact that her and Angel have played together before, and they have some type of familiarity. So, I mean, I guess that's cool. And then Haley Van Lith also, her name alone just brings more like notoriety to that Chicago team and potentially puts more butts in the seats so they can run up some more money, get their facilities going a little bit better. And you know what I mean? Like things like that, I guess, you know. So it's a good look in for that. But more importantly, they have Sloot now. So they could have went in a different direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe they were thinking, oh, well, what if Sloot gets hurt, or what if, you know, or just what will be available after she retires. So maybe they just went on and took Haley Van Lith for that reason, is what I'm thinking. So, yeah. Let me see here. Get my phone back on. Ooh, yes. And up next. Oh, was you about to say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I just heard you breathe. Okay. Up next, the Connecticut Sun. They drafted Anissa Morrow, ladies and gentlemen, the self-creator herself. Sanaya Rivers as well from NC State, and I don't want to butcher her name. I hope I pronounce it right. Raya Marshall. And yeah, so how are you feeling about the Connecticut Sun? What's the grade you give them?
I feel like I'm being very generous here. I'm going to give him a C.
Whoa. Well, damn.
Yeah. I mean, everybody seems to think I'm an Anissa Morrow hater. I'm not. I just believe I'm being a very honest and fair evaluator, right? I am one of those analysts that do believe that she does not have any definitive position in the WNBA. I do not believe she can play power forward. I think it's
Nah,
laughable at the
not at all.
idea that you're no. So then, okay, then what? You're going to tell me she's a small forward? There's no way.
If she's next to Marina, she will probably have to be unless Marina's pushing point.
If you're actually trying to win games, that does not make sense to me.
No, I mean they're just going. They're going to try to run up the score.
No. Clearly, you have not seen enough of my work this draft cycle. At the rim, she's 65% at the rim. Fantastic. Okay, between 4 to 10 feet, it drops down to 28%. From 10 to 15, it's 26%. Right. From 15 to the 3-point line, it's like 25, and then beyond, it's like 24 or 20. I'm rounding up. It's like 24, right?
Yeah.
So this idea that like you could just immediately transform her into an actual wing, I'm not buying that. That's a major assumption there. And make no mistake, I do believe in her motor, which is why I'm giving her a C, right? Yeah. You know, I do believe in her work ethic, but to just assume that you can transform her into an actual WNBA wing, like that's a lot. That's a big gamble there. Now, again, you know, like, hey, as I said, right, I think she has one of the highest motors, if not the highest motor in this draft class. That does count for something.
Yeah.
But
motor
again, you take this into totality, which is why it sucks. Sanaya Rivers, make no mistake, she is the best wing defender in this draft class. In my opinion, it's not even like debatable. Rhea Marshall, fantastic rim protector. Okay, get this right. Between the three of them, right? So, what's it? Anissa Morrow, at least you know at LSU, was a power forward, right? So at their respective positions, Morrow, power forward, Sanaya Rivers, small forward, right? Rhea Marshall, center. Each of them were literally amongst the worst finishers, right? Yeah, one of the worst finishers, right? In the paint at their respective positions. Okay. So what I'm saying is on a team, so none of them can shoot. On a team that did not have shooting or shot creation. I mean, hey, I'm a big believer in JC Sheldon. Right. Yeah. But oh my God. Right. Like, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, the reason why it's a C is it's not like I believe they're all C players. When you take them in totality together and then you put it on the team, because one of the things that like really irks me about drafting players in that proverbial vacuum, you know, you're drafting without any context to your team, is that now you bring those players, especially these three, that have very glaring holes in their game that need development.
Yeah.
But you're now putting them on a team that will only exacerbate those glaring holes.
Those glaring holes, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like that. Like, you can't just tell me like, oh, just run them all out there, give them like 30 minutes a game and let them figure it out. No. You know, I made this analogy on another pod earlier this week. I said like, hey, like for example, you and me, you're taller than me, right? So we're supposed to develop pick and rolls, right? You need to understand, you're the big, you're the roller. You are supposed to learn how to be like a pick and roll, like diver or passing out the pick and roll.
Right.
But if I can't deliver you the ball, if I don't know how to set up a pick and roll as the point guard, how are you ever going to learn? That's my point. This is why I give it a C. It's not so much a C because of the player evaluations. It's a C because how it is related to this Connecticut Sun roster, which we know is in limbo. We do. Yeah. But still, right? That's the thing. Like, this didn't add any more clarity to the roster. You just created more questions. And yeah, I know Marina Mabry's there. I don't even count her. Yeah. Like, she's going to be gone. I believe she's going to be gone. Yeah, exactly. Like, they're going to trade her at some point, you know? So that's my point. Like, had they actually been brought into a team where there is at least enough pieces to help their own player development, maybe I'd feel a little bit better about it. But right now, I feel like there's growing pains for any rookie. I feel like theirs is going to be the worst. So
Ooh.
that's why I give it a C.
Ooh. I mean, when you put it that way and you give me all of that information, I'm gonna have to give it a C because they didn't acquire anything that just at least raises their floor. You know what I mean? Especially with Marina not really wanting to be there, and then it's just like, well, what is she gonna have alongside her? Um, and then I was also like, I was high on Anissa, and it is her in an LSU uniform as opposed to a WNBA uniform. You know what I mean? Like it's so many college teams, but there's a very small few WNBA teams, and they all have really good players on them. So she will be tested for sure this year. You know what I mean? Like coming in as a rookie. So I can probably ride with a C. And I do love the Sanaya Rivers pick as well. Like because they lost everything. You know what I mean? Literally everything. Dewana Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, Brianna, everybody, like except Marina. It was like, no, we're gonna just hold you. We're gonna keep you right here because we need you as an asset going forward. So we're not worse than Valkyries team or a Tempo that will come in and has
I
to
mean,
grab players from everywhere and try to formulate something. We don't want to
I
be
am
on
still
that
high
page.
on JC Sheldon. I am
Yeah.
extremely high on Leila Lacan,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. She's a
But at the
6'5"
same
athlete.
time, they're basically like, at least with regards to the WNBA, they're going to be a rookie and a second year player, right? That's a lot to put on two young players. And again, right? Again, it's a developing team, but that's the thing. Now you look at it having their inactivity in free
Mhm.
agency. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like you're gonna look back as a mistake. Like, okay, we at least could have gotten a couple veterans, right, to help
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
these incoming rookies, but
For sure.
whatever. So yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to
Ooh, there you go.
the Dallas Wings. Young Page in the building.
Page buckets.
They
Page
got
buckets.
Page
This is gonna be
buckets.
easy.
Page
It's gonna be
Beckers.
easy. We probably don't need to
Mhm.
spend too much time. They get an A. They get
Oh,
an
okay.
A.
Okay.
You got Paige
Isaiah
Beckers.
James and Madison Scott, JJ Quinterly, and Arianette Vonleh, who I didn't know. I sat there and watched the draft, and I didn't know. I don't know if I like turned it down at that point, but I didn't know that she was Noah Vonleh's sister.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and I should have known that just Vonleh. Like, how many Vonlehs are there in the world? Like, they're likely all related. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
and you said you give them an A plus.
So okay, that was my only debate for this team. This
Yeah.
grade was: is it going to be an A or an A plus? It's going to be an A. It's
Okay.
only going to be an A because here's the thing: you got Paige Beckers,
Yeah.
so it can't be any less than an A,
Right.
right?
Yeah. You got the number
In
one pick,
general,
so
I really love Isaiah James' game.
yeah.
I think she could have easily gone higher in this draft class. The only reason why I don't give an A plus was, again, it's later on in the draft. JJ Kinnerly was picked in the early third round, which was kind
I
of
butchered her
surprising,
name.
actually.
Sorry about that, JJ.
Yeah, I thought she would have been
I
like
said Cornerly.
a solid second round pick, but it's cool. You have already Arike Gumbawale still on the team,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Paige Beckers is a scoring guard.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you can make an argument that Tiasha Harris could eventually move on.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Mackenzie Forbes. But to me, Isaiah James and JJ Kinnerly, like, they're kind of redundant. Like, I don't want to like just completely like, box them, but they are,
Okay.
So it's like, huh. And again, I don't know, it's third round pick, which is unfortunate because I think JJ Kinnerly really should be on a WNBA roster.
Yeah.
Aaron Vonleh, like I do think highly of her. I don't really know if she'll be able to make the roster.
Yeah, because they
Um,
got too many bigs already.
they
That's
do, and
always.
she
They
is
always
like a
have too many
very
bigs.
productive and very skilled big.
Yeah.
But there's where you can tell someone just like did a very poor like chat GPT or Grok. When I see some of like her player profiles, like this whole
Hmm.
she is a fluid athlete or she is very athletic and very fast. Like, no, that's part of the reason why I didn't have her higher on my draft board. Like, she isn't particularly light on her feet, especially like
Right.
laterally.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, ooh, like,
He's
can
an
you
ew.
really? Well, no, like, if you can't move, against these WNBA
Yeah.
bigs, then
Asia
like,
Wilson and
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, even go
all
down
of
to the
them.
backups, right?
Hmm.
Like, you will get beat in a foot race by like Ezra Stevens.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like those why like okay, some of like these kind of I don't want to say flat footed, but like she moves her feet well, but she's not very like light on. Like I said, she's not light on her feet. She's not so I don't know, but basically it's probably more analysis than we have to give. I think overall it's good. It's probably a good problem to have. Like oh wow, can we fight JJ Kinderly on the roster? But you know, um, Paige is a guard. Zai James is a
Hmm.
guard. Arike is like an all-star guard,
Right.
you know. Um yeah, I was like, okay. I thought maybe you'd go like a wing or something just to kind of round it out. So that's why I was just giving an A.
Okay. Yeah, I'll share that grade. I know I haven't gone too much different from your grades yet, but I will say that maybe they drafted this way because it seems like the Wings want to focus on guard play more than anything. Like they even did what I requested last season and made Satu a three and had her like pushing the ball. You know what I mean? So basically, they wanted another guard. You know what I mean? They wanted like when who went down a few years ago when Alicia Gray was still there? Was it Arike or was it Marina? I forget who went down, but they had Alicia kind of like controlling things even though it was kind of like, at least when I was paying the most attention to it, she was kind of on the block a lot of those times, or just operating in that area. And it just seems like they just want another guard. You know what I mean? So now you have Paige Beckers, you have Isaiah James. So let's see what you do now. You know what I mean with what you have. So it's like taking those responsibilities from Asatu Sabali and then putting it up a little bit higher, and then maybe they want to maybe they want that to be a different type of balance. Like instead of it being Satu or Rike, and then everything kind of flatlines, it's like you spread it out now, and then everything can kind of just balance. I would assume I'm just interested in seeing what it looks like because Rike is there and Paige is there now, so she's good off ball as well. So I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing what her and Rike can do.
Nice.
Yeah. So going forward, it's time. The Golden State Valkyries. I'm gonna butcher her name, so I'm not even gonna say it. Justy,
Oh my god, bro! I taught you how to say this.
you did, and I forgot. I
All right, I'll
forgot.
take care of this one. Okay. My hometown, Golden State Valkyries, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the fifth
Bay
overall pick, they
Area.
selected Lithuanian point guard Juste Osite,
You
right?
stay Osite.
Then in the second round, they took Maryland guard Cheyenne Sellers,
The Silent J's.
right? And then in the third round, with the 30th overall pick, they
Your girl.
selected Yukon national champion
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Chen. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you missed my appearance on the Indie Basketball Podcast, where I gave my immediate reactions
Where can they find
after,
that? Where can they
yeah,
find it?
find it like on Spotify and Apple Pods. You can find it on like my Twitter feed. But the point
Shout out to
being
Corey.
was I gave him an A plus in the moment. I'm gonna stick
Yeah.
with the A plus.
Mm.
Um, what call it? Uh
Cheyenne Sellers
oh
was
wait,
a
did I say that? Yeah,
really
I'm giving them an A plus. I'm giving them
yeah.
an A plus. I mean, for me, again, I admit I'm basing this on my player evals,
Mm.
and Yuste Osite and Cheyenne Sellers both finished on my final big board. They were both top five. They were both ranked top five on my big board, and I understand, or at least for Cheyenne Sellers, I think obviously, okay, why did she fall? Because I think it's pretty well believed that she fell to the second round. I think most fans, most media thought she would be a first rounder. I
Yeah.
think even before the draft, I was watching the pre-draft show, and Andrea Carter and Chinya Gumake, they actually both thought that Golden State could draft guard,
Yeah.
and they actually thought it was going to be Cheyenne Sellers. So for the Valkyries to have walked out with both Yuste Yosite and Cheyenne Sellers, I think this was a
Yeah.
coup. For a
Yeah.
team that basically did not have any other assets other than these 3 draft picks,
Right.
I think this is really good. Again, a very creative draft. I know everyone likes to make a big point of how the Valkyries have really canvassed the entire world for
Yeah.
talent. They've had a
Yes.
very international flavor to their roster.
Yes. I love it.
But with
Basketball
Cheyenne
without borders.
Sellers, I'll just quickly say that if you have concerns about her knee and you're going to use that to try to downplay the significance of the Valkyries drafting her, then I will gladly remind people, I won't say haters, people, fans, right?
Mhm.
Critics, that the Golden State organization, because this right houses both the Warriors and the Valkyries, right?
Yeah.
Head physical trainer Rick Celebrini. This is the
Okay.
guy that got Steve Nash to play into his 40s. This is the guy who is allowing, right, keeping Steph Curry and Draymond Green healthy to continue playing into their late 30s, right?
Mhm.
I'm just saying, if there's anyone who could get Cheyenne Sellers back to 100%, it's Rick Celebrini, which is why, like, right now, I'm not nervous about that pick at all. And as for Yosite, I mean, she's a prodigy. She's a friggin' prodigy.
Yeah.
She's been playing professionally since she was 14. When people try to say, like, oh, how's it going to translate? I think the question should be reversed. Are you going to be able to translate your skills to play against her?
Her. Right.
She has been going up against pros. The first person she ever picked up, like, defending one-on-one, was DeWanna Bonner. She was 14 years old. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? They don't give me this, like, these stereotypes about Europeans not being able to match the physicality of WNBA players.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
They damn near, honestly, well, the WNBA is physical, but European play is physical play.
Yeah.
What
So anyway, obviously Caitlin Chen, actually, at first I kind of thought, like, when in my immediate reactions, I was like, she'll make the roster. And I hope she does. Personally, on a personal note, I do. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm Asian. I think, like, she's just a great, like, a great utility player, right?
Yeah.
A great player to have at the end of the bench, the end of rotation. But right now, looking at the Valkyries roster,
she's Maria Conde insurance.
Well, really, no, like, even if you take Maria Conde out, we still have like 18 active players. We got to whittle that down to 12. It will be tough. It will be tough now that I look at it, like until they clear out, like, either the cutting or, it would suck to just waive some of these players, but it's inevitable. Every team's going to have this problem, right? Yeah. But I think between Yuste Yosite and Carla Late, oh my God, right? Like, Natalie Nakase is about to have some fun. And according to Yuste Yosite, she intends to come over this season.
Okay.
Because obviously, until, like, you actually sign that contract, fans are going to be like, oh, is she a draft and stash? Which, if she is, that's cool. That actually helps out our logjam. Right. Because Carla Late did sign her contract. She is coming over.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. But, like, this is going to be interesting. I didn't know if the Valkyries would go guard again. I mean, I know you said she can play. She's 6'2". She is a true point guard.
Right.
But I get it. She can play the two.
Multiple positions.
Probably, your favorite solution, she could probably play the three.
Play the three. Okay. Yeah, because she's tall. Right. She's the height of most threes.
But it'll be really cool to see her and Carla Late play together at some point, like, and again, playing behind Julie Von Lowe. So, it'll be good. It'll be really fun. So yeah, I'm going to give them A+, and you can call me a homer, but I think they did well. I think they outdid themselves.
Okay. I'll just have a slightly lower grade with just an A. But I love their picks. I love what they're doing with their team. Like, I'm excited to see the Valkyries just because I think they're about to introduce a new offense to that the WNBA hasn't seen. Yeah. So yeah. All right, now going forward, the Indiana Fever. They selected Michaela Timpson, Bree Hall, and Yvonne. Am I going to say this right? Eam? Is Silent J? Is it a Silent J?
No, that one actually is pronounced.
Oh, Ejim. Yvonne Ejim. So, how you feeling about the like newly transformed Indiana Fever? They're going crazy this offseason.
You know, I think people have
I love
conflicting
Timpson.
opinions about this,
I love
but
Timpson for that team too.
yeah, I think friend of a show Nick Andre is gonna like this one. I'm actually gonna give him an A minus. And
Okay.
actually, right before I just said that, I was actually gonna say B plus. But the more I think about it, is because simply put, Michaela Timpson, in my opinion, she could have easily been a first rounder.
Yeah.
I have her in my top 12, I think, on my final big board.
Yeah.
Um,
Her defense, man.
Easily the best shot blocker in this draft class.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't give me any of this Sedona Prince stuff. No,
Right.
no. Especially when you talk about like defending without fouling, way
Yeah.
better. You know,
Yeah.
such an athlete, so agile, can
Yes.
defend in space. You know, that's why I was kind of surprised. Like other teams, I thought she would have gone higher because of other teams that did need some depth
Yeah.
in the front court.
At the front, yeah.
But whatever. This is gonna sound lazy, maybe not lazy, but it'll make sense.
Uh,
The Valks poached Temi Fagbenle.
yeah.
In my opinion, they just drafted the perfect younger replacement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she's
They
gonna
did.
totally fit in.
And
She's
then
gonna totally fit in.
for me, she gives them what they wanted from Nalissa Smith because Nalissa wasn't playing defense like that. Like she wasn't a prominent defender. And they flipped that too. You know what I mean? So they kind of
Yeah.
got some of Timmy and some of Nalissa here. Here you go. Or the opposite of Nalissa here. Let's draft her. So I like that pick for them. And I would actually
But having said that, I mean, make no mistake, I
was about to give a
I
grade.
like
early.
Bree Hall. Basically, I'm giving them an A minus just because of Michaela Timpson. I don't think Bree Hall will make the team.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure she was like the best pick there. I can understand it, but I mean, Bree Hall is a good. When we say 3 and D, let's be real. I'm just being very honest here, right? Like she is a good off-ball defender. She's not as great on ball, which is fine, right? Because people far too often fall asleep off ball.
Right.
And she could good catch and shoot, but I mean, like, she doesn't have a very particularly good handle. So, like, when defenders close out on her, right, it's inevitably going to have to be like she has to give it up. She has to pass it, you know, because she can't, like, she doesn't sidestep particularly well. You know, she can't take a 1-2 dribble or anything and pull up. So, you know, I'm not sure she'll make it. Yvonne Ejim, undersized center, fantastic player. But again, I think right now the Fever, as their roster stands, unless they make another trade, they really only have at most they can sign one player, one of their rookies, and I'm assuming it's going to be Michaela
Timpson.
Yeah,
of course.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think they were initially going to go into the season with just 11 players because of the salary cap issue, but I think they may be able to afford her, you know, under the rookie scale.
Yeah.
But Michaela Timpson, yeah. So I mean, because again, the fit, and I think you could already see the enthusiasm from the current Fever players. You know, like they understand. Like, whoa, okay, you know, completely fills a void. So there you go.
Right.
A minus.
Okay. I'll give them an A minus as well too, because I just like the fit and I like what they lost, but what she replaces. You know what I mean? So I like that for them as well. Like I'm pretty high on Michaela Timpson for real. Uh-oh. Okay, and moving on to the LA Sparks. They drafted your girl, Sarah Ashley Barker, ladies and gentlemen. Sanaya Fagan. Don't let me butcher her name. Liatu King?
Very good.
I did it. I did it right. I said it,
Say it again.
Liatu King?
Close enough. The I is silent.
Ah, okay. So Latu.
Yeah.
Latu King. Okay. Don't kill me, y'all. We got to learn them. How are you feeling about this? Because I love this for LA. I'm obsessed with what this is going to look like. Seriously.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I like how you said, like, Sarah Ashley Barker, quote unquote, my girl. Yeah, she got a lot of Twitter attention,
Yes.
or at least Twitter coverage from me, especially
Yeah.
late in the because I mean I think even for me, this is like I said, like if you're, I'm not saying I'm a great draft analyst or a scout.
You are.
I think, thank you. I'm just saying, right, like the best, you always have to be willing to change your opinion.
Right.
You cannot be so stubborn that just because, oh, you had a very hard opinion initially, right, that you're unwilling to change because you don't want to, whether it's ego or vanity. This isn't about me. What I'm trying to say is I think a lot of people, myself included, maybe thought there was a certain ceiling as to what Sarah Ashley Barker could achieve or what she could be at the next level. And not even just in the tournament, but towards the end of the regular season and going into conference tournament play, like she started to really show a different dimension. I think she is. So I guess I'll just go with the grade first, and I'll explain because it's largely about Sarah Ashley Barker. I'm going to give him a solid A. A solid A. I've been going between A- and A, but I'm going to give him an A because I think Sarah Ashley Barker, one, she will contribute from day one.
Right.
She will contribute from day one. And I don't have it in front of me. I was actually writing about it earlier today. If you include like just the players that are guards, right? Like either ones or twos or both, combo guards.
Yeah.
They have like 6. I think she could be like third on that depth chart, right? Or basically she will lead to like 1 or 2 of them being cut in training camp.
Right.
SAB, she can play, okay, your favorite solution, but she actually can do it. She can play the 3, which is why I think a lot of fans are like, we need a point guard of the future because 1, Kelsey Plum is older. 2, she really is only under contract for 1 year. You never know. Even though she's made it clear she wants to sign long term after this year, still, right? But to me, like if you ask other people, like they don't really. I mean, like Rakea Jackson, like she can play the 3, but again, I don't think they have particularly a lot of wing depth, right? They definitely don't have a lot of wing defenders or playmakers on the wing.
Right.
They have some shot makers. They don't have shot creators. So I think Sarah Ashley Barker, she can be that that type of player. Make no mistake. I think long term she can be a point guard of the future, developing with or behind and alongside Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
But for the time being, she can play with her as the 2. She could play the 3 in certain lineups, or if you whatever you could be interchangeable between her and Rakea. Again, and she is so tenacious on the glass, which I'm not saying that the Sparks guards last year weren't good, but they weren't great.
No.
And she can really dominate, especially the offensive glass, and you think about it too. I mean, Cameron Brink, she can gobble up rebounds, but still, right? When Cameron Brink's literally like, defending like 30 feet out, she can't get all of them. So that's why you want a guard like Sarah Ashley Barker. I'm really high. I really like the spit here.
Yes.
She was one of like the big late risers, I think, within the entire draft community, and I'm happy for her. Sanaya Fagan, I thought she was going to go higher, just because I know this is not a particularly deep class, or
not
this draft class was not deep on centers.
Second order,
Well, I mean, again, the other teams that I thought needed bigs, I thought she would have gone to them, and they balked. They decided to go a different direction. But it's reported that Cam Brink, she won't be back until around the All-Star break.
Okay.
I think De'Erica Hamby, or no, who else? Cheyenne, right? I want to make sure, right? Who is also on their depth chart?
Cam Brink. Is it Cheyenne Barker? That's what you was about to say, Cheyenne?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let's do a fact check.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Wait, no. She's on the Aces now.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yep. So
Who do they have? Oh, Mercedes Russell. Okay.
that's
Okay.
right. We did talk about this the other day too. I don't know how I didn't remember the roster. It was so much movement this offseason.
I mean, obviously Dearica Hamby, but
Yeah.
but basically it looks like a couple of like their main rotation front court players are going to be out, at least to start the season.
Early. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, looks like Sanaa Fegan will step into a role, and I'm happy. Again, same
That's a
thing.
good thing.
In terms of pure skill, her individual player development has been fantastic. Like, she has visibly, there are tangible improvements that she's made from season to season. I'm not saying that her development will continue to be this linear, but what I'm saying is she is an athlete, but she doesn't depend on it, She's very fundamentally sound. So I think in the time being, not only will she be good to kind of hold down the fort while Cam Brink and everybody else kind of comes back from their respective injuries, but moving forward, I think she'll be a great piece for them. So, yeah, I think they get an A. Alatu King, again, I think it's going to be an uphill battle, even though I know I said that they need more wings, but to me, she's more of like a 4, like an undersized 4.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure she'll make it. I hope she does, but she's a good pick and pop. I wouldn't say a 3-point threat. She's just a really, really good pick and pop mid range 4.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And that's
see.
going to be good though with Sarah and Kelsey there now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
But again, I
haven't heard her abilities.
It'll be interesting, but it'll be interesting to see what the final roster is, because if I'm right, Sarah Ashley Barker is going to be sending some veterans home. Yeah. So unfortunately, right? Even though the league is expanding, the roster sizes aren't, right? We're still 12-player rosters. That is unfortunate. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the Las Vegas Aces. They drafted Aaliyah Nye and Harmony Turner.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Go off. Or
it sucks because I like the players, especially Harmony Turner.
I'm
gonna have to give him. I gotta give him a D. This. I know they had limited draft assets. Actually, no, they had the first pick of the second round.
Yeah.
Which is basically the 13th
first
pick,
round.
Which is basically a first round pick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I really thought they were gonna draft Sanaa Fegan. Like, what was their biggest glaring issue, like glaring weakness last year?
Back up behind Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. They kept alternating between Megan Gustafson and going small with Alicia Clark. Right, and doing other weird combinations because they had no depth at center. And guess what? Right now, going into training camp, which starts in 10 days, they still don't have any depth at center.
Right.
Like, this isn't like Sanaa Fegan was just some big body.
Yeah,
she can legitimately play.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. Or if you didn't want that, then Michaela Timpson was right there too.
Maybe because of the usage rate of the players of the core. You know what I mean? Because like it just seems like no matter who they draft or no matter who comes along, unless you're like Tiffany Hayes and you get an opportunity because Chelsea Gray is out, then you know what I mean? Like they don't. I can't say that the Aces play players that other teams would just play. Like they had Kate Martin. You know what I mean? And
yeah, but by that logic, they did it again. Then, like if I didn't even go, don't even look at their draft results. If you said just going to the draft, what is the Aces' deepest position? I would say guard and wing.
Guard all day. Guard
and you just drafted two.
Yeah.
Who probably, as you just said, will not make the roster.
Well, they won't. You
just and that's the thing. It's not a knock on Aaliyah Nye or Harmony. Well, okay, Aaliyah Nye, I think every fan was shocked that she was drafted that high.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Aaliyah Nye was shocked she was drafted that high. Okay, no, I saw the camera. Right, the camera was on her. Right, like she tried to play it cool, but she's like, me, really, me, it's like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't really understand the rationale there. Again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that Aaliyah Nye or Harmony Turner are bad players. As a fact, I really like Harmony Turner. I don't like Harmony Turner on this team.
Yeah.
I don't think she's going to make the roster. And well, maybe she does, but I don't know. You know,
Right.
Again, that's why the grade is more so as it relates to, again, the team. And I don't think this team really has much room for rookies anyway. But if it did, wouldn't
No.
you think it should be of a position of need? And they didn't even do that. Like, you're not really, to
Right.
me, it's like you drafted two players who don't really have a real shot at making the roster. Maybe I look dumb in a couple of weeks because they end up trading some of like their death veterans. I don't know. You know, but again, with the Aces, so I just want to confirm their current roster so I know I'm not tripping. I mean, I know you got like Elizabeth Kitley coming back. That's cool, but I mean, she's effectively a
Good
rookie.
Lord. Yeah, that's what I
You
was
know,
saying the other day too.
but
You got Elizabeth
oh
Kitley too.
yeah, Cheyenne Parker Tyus, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's out. You
Right.
knew this. You
Because
knew
she's
this going
about
into
to
the
have a
draft.
baby. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for her. I'm just saying, but
Yeah.
like for the team, they knew going into the draft, we are
That they weren't
down
gonna.
ones who she was projected to actually be in the rotation.
Right.
Wouldn't it make sense to
Yeah,
like at
I
least
mean,
bring in? But anyway, whatever.
but
So
what is she
I'm gonna
gonna
give him a
miss? Like
D.
3 months, 2 or 3 months, I believe.
What's that?
Cheyenne, she's gonna miss like 2 or 3 months if I'm not mistaken. She won't be here
Yeah,
until
I
like
think at least they
August or
said,
something like that. Maybe late
yeah,
July.
yeah.
Okay.
So no, I think it's closer to August. Is what they said.
Closer to August. Okay. Yeah, because it is
You
April,
know,
May, June, July, August. Yeah, yeah.
so I mean, like that's why I say you could maybe talk me into like saying D plus because I do like the players themselves, Ali and I and Harmony Turner. Well, I like Harmony Turner way more,
Yeah.
but this was just not the like this was not the team. Like
No.
I don't know. I'm sure again they'll do their best, but it doesn't seem great.
I just thought of something, but never mind. It's just fantasy.
No, we're good. Let's power
Okay.
through this. We got 1,
I'm
2, 3, 4, 5 more
power
teams.
through. Okay. I'm gonna just give them a D basically as well because the Aces they don't retain or they don't really utilize the rookies anyway. So they got their rookies that they needed, all those first rounds, all those damn near first picks. You know what I mean? That run shit now. So
Yeah.
they should have just traded it off. Maybe okay, I'll throw my fantasy out there. Maybe they could have tried to make a trade and go get Brittany Sykes. You know what I mean? That would have been good because I won't say that Jewel Lloyd is the best defender, and I love Jewel Lloyd. It's no offense to her, and I'll just stop right there so we can get through. But yeah. Next up is the Minnesota Lynx they drafted Anastasia Kosu, Delia Daniels, and Aubrey Griffin.
National champion Aubrey Griffin.
Yes, national champion Aubrey Griffin. UConn.
We'll make this quick because it's gonna be a
It's about
very
to
uphill battle for
whittle
any of them
down. Yeah.
to make the roster. Especially because Cheryl Reeve did say that like she does intend, or Anastasia Kosu does intend on joining them at training camp, which kind of
Yeah.
surprised me. I don't know if that's not confirmed. That's just what Cheryl Reeve said so
Right.
far. That's her understanding. And if that's the case, oh my God, like, okay, really, they at most they can bring one in, and I don't even think that's gonna happen. You know, one of these drafted rookies. I don't care what it says next to their player profile. In my opinion, they're all power forwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe Delia Daniels is the closest to a small forward.
Delia
I like
is
all of them.
Nice.
I
love
yeah.
Delia.
She is nice. And by the way, just shout out to whoever runs the admin at the Minnesota Timberwolves like social media account. Those highlight reel compilations that they put together, man, those are so good.
I got to see that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're like with the fading from like one shot to the next shot,
Yeah.
everything from like game to game, but it's like the same shot.
Yeah.
Anyway, all I'm saying is you could sell me that like all these players are going to be like superstars one day, man. What great
Yeah.
editing. No, but I'm going to realistically, they all fit. Okay, Anastasia Kosu, it's in her best interest. I think that she should be a draft and stash.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I've said it on other pods that had me on, like, like at the basketball game, like during halftime or during the timeouts, they have like those trampoline dunkers.
Yeah.
That's Anastasia Kosu. Like she always looks like she's like jumping off a trampoline. Like I don't
Hmm.
understand how she has that vertical, especially from a standstill position. Like she's,
Hmm.
what I'm saying. Um,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. For Cheryl Reeve, like yes, everybody knows they lack size. Their tallest player, I believe, is like 6'3". They don't have anyone
Yeah.
taller,
Yeah.
and yet they're like the second best defense in the league, right? In the absence of pure size, they just go with length. They switch
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm.
All three of these players could fit that mold.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all three of them will not make the
The
team.
team.
To me, they're all power forwards, really. I get again,
Yeah.
like you said, Delay Daniels could be a 3, but they're all combo forwards. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But they can defend pretty much, in my opinion, like all 5 positions at the very least. Maybe Daniels like 1 through 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I.
Um.
I. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm saying I never gave a grade. I'm gonna give him like a solid B
B
plus. You
plus.
could even
Yeah.
talk me into an A minus because the players themselves are good
Are
and they
good.
fit.
They're really good.
Yeah, I hope Aubrey Griffin. I want the Lynx to just retain their draft rights. Like convince Aubrey Griffin to like basically medically redshirt this year.
Right.
Tell Kosu to stay over
To stay over and keep
in.
Daniels. That's what I was gonna say. Keep
Wait till
Daniels.
next year after the expansion draft, right?
And probably
With the other
rosters might
team.
expand.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, I would hate to just see them go. I mean, I want them to be able to play. If they want to play immediately, they've earned that right. But, you know, um, I could see all of them having a role with the Lynx. Obviously,
Yeah.
again, right? Like any rookie, especially if you're taken in the third round,
Hmm.
um, it's always difficult to play your way onto the team. But I mean, if they actually, that's what I'm saying. I feel like next year expansion draft, right, where 2 players are being plucked from each team, not one, right? Because we got 2 new teams coming in.
Yeah.
There's going to be a better opportunity for them to actually legitimately compete for a roster spot. Because I think if they go to camp this year,
Yeah.
they know they're going home at the end of camp, right?
Right.
So yeah. But I think like I'm gonna give them a solid B plus. I think
Yeah.
it's good.
I will say that I will give them a B plus if it's Daniels that they end up uh bringing onto the roster because I just think she fits. You know what I mean? Like it's always been the Lynx don't have a big thing, and she alongside Alana Smith would look like the closest thing to that. You know what I mean? And then just her ability to finish and the things that she's able to do on the floor from her position and in the post. Because outside of Fee, I don't. How much post play did they really have? Like I'm talking about like back to the basket type of actual real post player other than Fee. You know what I mean? Like I can't think of any because Alana Smith is a shooter, and I just don't think they have it. And I think Daniels would be
No.
the perfect fit going into this next season. So I love that pick, like just her specifically, and I want them to get her. And like you said, medic have Aubrey do medical and yeah, and Kosu just stay over for one more year or maybe 2, and be a stash, and then come over later. Like
Yeah.
once the new CBA comes in, the rosters expand and whatnot, and or there's just more room in the WNBA for you to actually make a roster and be in rotation and stay on the
I
roster.
mean,
You know
can
what
you
I mean?
imagine? Like, maybe it's asking too much, but like, what if like rosters after this new CBA? I mean, I don't think this is gonna happen. I'm just fantasy land here, but like just the
Mm.
impact. If the roster is just simply expanded to 13 players, do you know how much that
Ooh,
changes
wait.
everything?
Yeah.
Like that 13 players and then 2 additional new teams.
Yeah.
My gosh. Now these draft
So
rights
you
really
have
do
15
matter.
teams and
You know?
30 more
Yeah.
spots. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay.
New
Moving
York's okay, we can
on.
breeze through this.
Yeah, New York. Aja Kane. Go for it. She was third round.
Um, I mean,
Short.
again, I like the player. I don't know. You don't know too much about her. Again, just a really like very athletic, very very fast, amazing hands, great multi-positional defender.
Mhm.
Actually has some nice offensive moves, but still raw. I mean, if we see her, it's probably going to be in like 3 years, maybe
Right.
4. So I guess we can either give him. It's your pick. We give him like an incomplete, an NA. I guess we could call it a C. I don't know. I mean, like it was the
Right.
last pick of the draft, so
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
Okay. Incomplete. A NA. Okay. Phoenix gets an F. Let's continue. Um, or
Phoenix.
they get it, or they get an incomplete too.
No, Phoenix gets the NA.
Yeah, yeah,
They get
they
the
good.
NA. However, I will give them credit. They signed Tamira Poindexter
Hmm.
as an undrafted free agent. Um,
Okay.
and honestly, like from what I last looked at the Mercury's roster, they really only have 8 players under contract, like under contract. They have a
Right.
couple vets that are like, just same thing, brought in for training camp. So Tamira Poindexter, like if you're an undrafted free agent,
Mhm.
the Mercury is the place to go. I think that's your best shot
Yeah.
of making the team. And as it pertains to Tamara Poindexter, like she has a chance to make this team. I mean,
Yeah.
like, make no mistake, they got some great players, right? Alyssa Thomas and Satu and all of them. But
Yeah.
obviously, all that I mean, they would much rather have those players than a bunch of rookies.
Right.
But that was part of the price of getting them. So we'll
Right.
see, we'll see. But yeah, in NA.
Okay. Oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Yes. Next up, the Seattle Storm. Dominique Malonga, ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 pick in the draft. Serena Sundell, Madison Connor, and Jordan Hobbs. I get, man, I get him an A plus
Um,
just on Malonga alone.
I'm gonna give him an A plus plus.
Oh, A
If
plus
I'm allowed to do
plus.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh my god, Malanga is. Oh well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see 5 years from now, right? Because obviously there's gonna be that debate. Like at my final big board, I had Dominic Malanga at the top of my big board this entire cycle, and then my final one, I finally put Paige up because I'm like, dude, her
You had
floor,
Dominique
Paige.
at 1?
I had Dominique at 1 the entire draft cycle until my final big board. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I flipped it. I put Paige at 1, Dominique at 2.
2.
I mean, like, this really is a combination of, like, you know, physical gifts, athleticisms, tools that we have not seen in a long time. And the thing is, what do we always use, right? The catchphrase functional athleticism. Do you actually have the skills to fully leverage your athletic gifts? She
Right.
does.
Yes.
She does. I
Yes.
mean, 5 years from now, this could look like, wow, like this should have been the obvious pick first. I mean, that's not throwing a shade at Paige. It's just like, whoa. So, yes, there's the upside. The reason why actually, so this is going to be amazing. And as I've sold to other people, no, at least for the time being, she is not supplanting Ezzy. She's not taking Ezzy's spot. If
Mm-mm.
anything, though, I mean, and she won't start. She won't start.
Uh,
But
yeah.
I don't think she will. Right? You have NECA, you have Ezzy.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to start from day one. But what I'm saying is
Slot them
she
up.
can play with all of them.
Yes.
Like you could leave Ezzy as the 5. I think Malonga can play the 4.
I mean, she has the gifts. She has the talent. Or
She
you can just slot
has
them
the
up.
speed, the agility. She
Mm-hmm.
actually defends better in space, really, than at the rim. Like she can block shots, make no mistake, she can.
Yeah.
But
But her length
like
is more of a problem in space.
exactly, she is a
Yeah.
complete. Like she blows up pick and roll. She's an absolute disruptor. So I'm gonna say that. But the reason why I give it an A plus plus is because Serena Sundell.
Yeah.
To get Serena Sundell in the third round is madness. I don't
Yeah.
understand what other GMs were thinking, but I mean, frankly, I like all their third round picks.
Yeah.
I think they nailed them. It's unfortunate that I don't know if they're going to be able to. Yeah, I
Keep
think
them
at
all.
most, I think Sundell. That's the thing. Sundell will make the roster.
Yeah.
She will. You don't see too many third round picks make the opening day roster. She will. That's why I
Mhm.
might be asking too much because I love Jordan Hobbs' game, right? I love like her mid range game. Madison Connor, same thing. Nice like 3 and D. They have these skills, right? But I don't know. It's a numbers game. But again,
Yeah.
the Sundell one, I feel like that one again. I don't know. I don't know. Either we're very right or we're very wrong. I just feel like,
I
like
think
the
it's right.
GMs clearly disagreed with us, right? To the
Yeah.
point where that's what she was invited to the green room, which means
Right.
a lot of people thought she was going first or at least mid second was like her floor. So to
Right.
fall to the early third round,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, I think she may make some GMs look a little bit foolish,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because I think right now too, especially in the absence of Jordan Horston,
Yeah.
there will be a possibility for her to get minutes.
It will be, and I think she's gonna spell for Skylar as well.
Skylar,
Give her
was
because
it Lexi
Skylar's
Brown's
up.
there now,
She's up
right?
in years, so huh?
Right, they acquired Lexi Brown.
Yep.
You
One of
know,
my favorites, Lexi. Hmm.
see, same thing. She can play with Sundell. I mean, she's a legit 6'2".
Hmm.
So she could play off guard. She could play, on ball. I mean, it's crazy. So
Yeah,
I am really excited for Seattle. Like, I mean,
man.
I have a lot
They
of teams I'm excited. I'm excited for all the teams, but I mean,
yeah,
like,
me too.
this is cool.
They might have depth out their roster in the absence of letting Jewel Loy go. And instead of having it as top heavy, they were like, okay, well, we're gonna have these two and Skylar. Well, it's really a big three: Skylar, NECA, and Ezzy. You know what I mean? So you had a big four, and that's just too top heavy. So they kind of spread it back out. You know what I mean? So I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, and I'm in love with the Malonga pick. Like she's going to be. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, she's this young, and I think she's 19, right? And
The
she's
19.
raw and this and that." I can't say I see raw. Like that might just be her play style. You know what I mean? Like
You
some
know
people
who the point
just
guard was, right? In Asvel in
no.
France. It's Yuste Yosite.
Oh well, damn it. Oh well,
The 2-man game. Unstoppable, man. So,
man, and then she played for the French national team too. So it's just like,
hmm
man, come on, man. Like give Malonga some more love. But I don't think
Rounding it out
nobody's
here.
raving. I don't think they're raving about her as much as they should be. Um, and for the last team, before we get out of here, we have our EDD in the war room.
Oh, no.
Surprisingly, Washington Mystics, and they drafted Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafem, Georgia Amore, Lucy Olson, and Zay Green. That's a lot. I think they damn near replenished their roster with what left a little bit. I mean, it's young, but just throwing my grade, I'll give them a.
Well,
I
obviously,
gotta
right?
give them an A, man. I guess because at the end of the day, you can flip any of them for assets, or definitely Kiki and Sonya for assets if need be. You know what I mean? Like right now, if you wanted to.
I mean, okay, you're a lot higher than me. I'm gonna give him
Yeah.
a B. I've
Okay.
oscillated this last couple days between a B and a B minus. Part of
Hmm.
it has to go into my player evals, which I'll explain momentarily. But
Okay.
I think I'm with you. They're definitely they're pivoting towards a rebuild,
Hmm.
right? They are focused on their youth. Obviously,
Hmm.
Carly Samuelson was traded like what a day before the draft,
Yeah.
right? Where they traded her and acquired another first round
2026.
pick. Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
Which again, we're gonna get into it. Like even if that's a late first round pick, next year's draft is gonna be good.
Loaded. Yeah.
It's loaded. So I mean, like, dude, it's fine, right? I mean, they just need as many, right? If it's like a lotto ticket, they need as many lottery tickets as they can get, right? They
Right.
need as many chances at this. Um, so I actually do think there's a possibility all 5 of these rookies could make the team, only because I don't think they're done wheeling and dealing. Like, I think probably, well, I'm just saying, I think there is a chance that Stephanie Dawson could be traded prior to opening camp. Yeah, I mean, like, I think they're really going to start trying to get some assets for their veterans that don't have a long-term future, either like not like it's just not within the plan or like the timeline of the
Yeah.
team, or really like their contracts are coming up soon.
Yeah.
So, the same thing with like Carly Samuelson. I don't think they were going to protect her in next year's expansion draft.
Right. Okay.
That's why it's like, okay, well, if we're not going to protect you, we might as well try to get something for you, right?
Right. That makes sense.
I was explaining this to some of one of my draft buddies, WNBA draft buddies. He is a Mystics fan, and he kind of shared some of the similar thoughts. Like, I think he also kind of gave them, like, we didn't do grades, but he just kind of told me like, oh, Connor, I give him like a B minus. So maybe that's why I also say like B minus. But the way he phrased it, or the way we kind of discussed it, was like, you could see like, you could envision like, okay, since Sonia Citron can play with anyone, right? You could see Georgia Amor and Aaliyah Edwards play together, right? Especially with Aaliyah Edwards, right? Everything is suggesting that she's going to have a more perimeter-oriented role this upcoming season. So, okay, cool, right? You could maybe sell me on the idea that Aaliyah Edwards and Kiki can kind of play together, right?
I want them
but
to.
Like, I
With
can't
Shakira.
see Kiki and Shakira playing together. Like, there are too many
space too much.
Yeah, there are too many players that don't particularly complement each other very well.
Right.
Again, if they just said, "Hey, we're going to get the best player available, period, and we're going to try to figure it out down the line," cool. But as it stands right now, like, no, I don't want to say they're ill-fitting pieces. They're not very complementary pieces.
Right.
So then honestly, well, actually, no, you know what? I'll move it up to B. I'll give it a solid B, because I think Lucy Olson was one of the best value picks of the entire draft class.
Yeah.
And my hot take is I think she's actually going to be probably the better stabilizing force than Georgia Amor. I think Georgia Amor is a very volatile player, right?
Okay.
Volatile in the sense that, right, like, it could be very high variance, the results with her. I think Lucy Olson can actually, like you said, right, just stabilize.
Right.
Right. So yeah. Zay Green, I really like Zay Green a lot. But unless they make massive cuts, like veteran cuts or trades during training camp, like, you have Georgia Amor and Lucy Olson ahead of you. Like, you'd have to outplay first of all, you'd have to outplay your rookie peers. Then you have to also outplay some of the veterans. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
But in general though, like, I like that Washington has really committed to this rebuild, and I like the way that they have been accruing assets to position themselves to try to get either a franchise player or a high impact player.
Yep.
I think it's pretty much clear now that they were trying to assemble a trade package to get Dominique Malonga. That did not happen. I think their plans were really effed up when AZ Fudd and Olivia Miles decided to go back. Because I think they really thought they could probably get like Sonia and Miles, or Sonia and AZ Fudd.
Yeah.
And to get neither kind of, is kind of like a kick in the gut.
Right.
But yeah, as the draft it is, like, I'm not as high on Kiki that's the thing. Like, I just don't believe her upside. Like, she cannot defend. Let's be real. Let's keep it 100, right?
Damn.
She can't. And so she compromises a lot of lineups. And I don't believe, like, if you told me, like, oh, like Conrad, she can be like this, you know, like one of the best scorers in the league, right?
Yeah.
Then maybe I could accept and try to work past those defenses. But I don't think so. I don't think she is. I think she has her sweet spots, but she's not a particularly versatile scorer. You know, she finishes what, a right hand? She finishes like what, 58% with her right hand. Her left
Yeah.
hand, she finishes 38. So you can't even tell me she can go both ways.
Yeah.
You
Not
know,
ambidextrous.
she's not
Yeah.
particularly good on the low block. I mean, she has a one
She's
sweeper, but
she's streaky. You know what I mean? Like when she gets hot, she gets hot. You know what I mean? Like hot, hot. And
yeah, but that's the thing.
that's
There's a
college
difference
ball
between
though.
having her then as a bench complementary piece
Hmm.
and drafting her later in the draft as opposed to drafting her fourth overall, where at least there is kind of some expectation or idea that you could
Yeah.
be like an offensive focal point. And I'm not sure that she can. And I've been very generous. Like, I'll acknowledge she has had some shooting improvement, both in percentage and range.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to sell me on the idea, not to you, but some
Yeah.
people that are
Y'all know.
Kiki fans,
Yeah.
if you're trying to sell us on the
I love
idea that she
Kiki.
could become a stretch four,
Yeah. That's what
whoa,
that's what I
that
want her to become.
that is a
That's what
big leap. That's that to me is not a projection. That is like you're hoping, or as I like to say, you're wish casting.
yeah.
There is no evidence yet to suggest that she can actually expand her range and
Right.
be a viable perimeter threat. That's why I had her and Anissa Morrow kind of ranked close together, is because, yes, they do have certain physical tools which would suggest, whoa, they could be a starter.
Right.
But they have like these glaring holes in their game that may prevent them from reaching the consistency where you could be a starter. Because I'm with you, sure. On any given day, she could pop off for like 20, 25 points or 20, whatever,
Yeah.
25, 30 points. But
Yeah.
again, like, it's those other days. Like, oh,
Hmm.
credit.
Man,
You're giving
14.
me like 3 points, man. Like, what's
Yeah,
this?
yeah. And I don't know. I put her in my little esteemed category. Put her at the three,
No,
and
she can't play the three.
make her develop those things. Like you have to put people in a position of discomfort in order for them to grow. And I would just go ahead and do it. And just I
I
mean,
mean,
now that you mentioned that Aaliyah Edwards is more of the perimeter, like from the perspective of what the team probably should do and what Aaliyah has shown, maybe she would be the one that could hypothetically go there, but I'm not sure she's as quick as Kiki. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm just interested. I mean, I do still love the Kiki pick. I'm just looking forward to seeing how they make this work because you have Kiki, Shakira, and Aaliyah. Like that's kind of a lot, all around the same positions on the floor. You know what I mean? So I want to see what they're gonna do with it
yeah, yeah.
for
It'll be
sure.
interesting. It'll be interesting because, like I said, I think what their development. I mean, like, obviously, again, I just preached earlier about Connecticut. You want to have those established veterans to help bring
Right.
along your young players. So I'm not saying like, oh my God, get rid of all of them all at once. But I mean, I do think at least their opportunities will be dictated by what veterans remain on this team
Yeah.
coming out of training camp. But I
And
mean, they're
EDD
not.
is there.
What's up?
I said an EDD is there.
Oh yeah.
I
I
don't know
mean,
if it's because Tybalt is out, but yeah.
no, but I mean, like, they don't really have, other than like Brittany Sykes. I mean, what? Sug Sutton,
Oh, like
Jade Melbourne.
actually on the team? Yeah, no, they don't.
They don't really. They're not deep at all at guard. So that's what
No.
I'm saying. I do believe Lucy Olson will make the team. I think that's good for them.
Yeah.
You but we'll see. So yeah, I think it was what do you say? Yeah, I'm giving them a B. Fun draft class. Definitely a fun draft class. I look
Yeah.
forward to see how training camp works out. I mean, again, you know what I'm saying? You scout all these players for like months at a time, right? You become like somewhat, I won't say attached, but it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
you believe that they can succeed Let's see if they can. If they get the opportunity, I should say.
Right. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our 2025 WNBA draft grades, featuring the great Conrado Pascual with the deep scouting analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure y'all go follow him. Let them know what else it is. What's the pod? The one you just did.
Oh, yeah. You can always follow me or catch me on a couple episodes of the Indie Basketball podcast with my co-host Corbin Ford. We're both members of the Center Hub. He's
done a lot of scouting and
one of the fellow scouts.
work.
And we don't suffer from groupthink. Trust me, Corbin. He sees things very differently, for better or for worse. But it's cool, right? It's always good to have different perspectives.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe. All W heads, share it, let people get it out. Make sure y'all follow Khan for real. Like, I'm pointing the wrong way. Make sure y'all follow Khan because he's all basketball. Got you covered. So yeah. And make sure y'all follow us at EMW_pod. We're everywhere, man. Like YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. Like once it gets uploaded, it's out there. So you can watch, you can listen, whatever fits you in your situations. And thank y'all for your time. And yeah, we'll be back soon, probably tomorrow or Saturday, something like that, with some more content for you guys. So yeah, we out of here. Have a good night.